Good evening. A New Mexico man claims cops arrested him because his Chihuahua got too aggressive with a state police officer.
The owner was hauled off to jail. Now, taxpayers are about to pay for that mistake. Here's News 13's Alex Tomlin.
Daniel Martinez had never been in trouble before, but last year he was handcuffed and booked for assaulting a family member. He says the only violence in his home that night was between his Chihuahua and a state police officer.
I felt something pinch me and I turned around, saw the dog and I kicked at it.
That's the voice of State Police Officer Nicholas Levine. In April of last year, 25-year-old Daniel Martinez and his grandmother got into an argument at their home near Espanola. Emotions were already running high in the family at the time.
My grandfather had recently passed away.
Daniel says he had a headache and grabbed a bottle of aspirin. His grandmother mistook the action.
My grandmother had thought that I had tried to take pills.
She called 911. That's where Officer Levine comes in. He showed up with EMS personnel and other officers to make sure things were okay. Martinez's attorney, Derek Garcia.
The family clearly told the officers that there was never any basis for Daniel to believe that he was violent in any way.
While Martinez wasn't acting up, his dogs were upset.
I have a Chihuahua Princess.
Princess snapped at Officer Levine's ankle. You can hear the officer talking about it on the dash cam video.
The dog did bite me though.
And both Martinez and his attorney say that was the tipping point.
He was upset, and I think that's why he arrested me.
He decides to, retaliate against Daniel by arresting him, even though he knew there was no basis for, any kind of criminal charges against him. He had to spend overnight in jail. They trumped up a bunch of charges against him.
You can hear the officer telling other people at the scene that Martinez hasn't acted out.
Just a little angry or whatnot, but not violent.
It was clearly outrageous conduct.
5 months later, the DA dismissed the charges against him. Martinez sued state police and Officer Levine in federal court. Attorneys from both sides are still filing the final paperwork for the settlement in that suit. The state has agreed to pay Martinez more than $20,000 for that night he spent in jail and the 5 months it took him to clear his name. Dick?
All right, Alex, an attorney for the state says the payout is not an admission of wrongdoing by that police officer and that settling the case was simply the best option for everyone.